It's conceptualized as a procession, but also the work is open-ended because this is a continuous movement where people are constantly trying to figure out where to settle. I think throughout my research for my work in general, I look at South African photography documenting the apartheid era. In that history, migration is key. So I'm raised in Johannesburg, and Johannesburg comes to existence when there's a discovery of gold, and there's mines being set up, and people are being recruited from outside of Johannesburg and even outside of South Africa to work in the mines. So I've always been aware of the history of migration. So I think that was my departure point when I was thinking about this particular work that I showed here. And I think for me, I wanted to find parallels between that history in South Africa and the history of movement and migration in this city. And I guess, fortunately or unfortunately, there seem to be a lot of parallels. The idea of home has been unsettled. My research into migration led me to a place called Senaka, which used to be a village that was where Central Park is now. And when I started reading up about it, I realized that it was one of the first communities of free black people in New York. And in that community, there were churches, there were schools, and there was this one particular church that was there, which was called the Mother Zion Church, which was also moved when the civil authorities decided to sort of move people away from that place. So my research led me to another church in Harlem that sort of related to the genesis of this church that used to be at Senaka, to sort of revive that kind of memory that lives in that kind of space, even though it's been erased over years. And then Times Square is a place where people move from across the country, from across the world, just to sort of experience being here. But also it's just a place where people come in to meet, and there's always movement all the time. So the Times Square might represent that kind of promised land, but maybe it's also just a temporary stop in a much longer journey.